I really want to shower you, child, with what is due to you. Child, you are the key to the multiplication of human race. That you should know. Child, you are the task given to your parents to produce the fiber elements of human race to take leadership on planet Earth based on different aspects of life. That's you, child. That you're supposed to know. Child, you are the treasure to represent your kind in the world in prosperity, to put a smile on the face of the one who created you. That's you, child. There's one thing that you're supposed to know which is very special. You are today's questions and tomorrow's answers. Remember that. I repeat, you are today's questions and tomorrow's answers. You know, your parents were once children like yourselves. They were yesterday's questions. That is why they are today's answers. Wonderful answers, very impressive. They went through all the processes of life, through all the difficulties of life, through all the wonderful times of life. They actually achieved successes in most things that actually they were meant to. That is why, child, they prepared to bring you at the right time on planet Earth in order to proceed with actually what human race is meant for. The multiplication of that human race should actually come out there according to the greatest expectation. Child, you are the questions of today and tomorrow's answers. Yes, you replicated from your parents, and your parents replicated from their parents. It stands to reason that their parents gave them a wonderful time, prepared them during the time as questions that which were asked by them. That is why they happen to be wonderful answers that we are talking about right now. And I'm sure this is exactly what your parents are looking forward to see from you. You know, your parents have to take leadership from the time you were just a seed in the womb. From the time when you were actually exposed on planet Earth as something that was breathing, crawling. Yes, that was from 0 step to 1. They actually took the initiative from 0-1 to teach you how to speak, how to eat, how to play, and how to identify certain things around you. How to call names, how to sing, how to be happy, and how to demand crying with that kind of baby voice, which of course was putting some kind of pleasures in them as a sign of a healthy child. That was step 1. Step 2, child, your parents took the initiative again to educate you in terms of the social life, how to behave, how to respect the adults, how to respect yourself, how to respect your friends, and to know what words to use. A good child, they actually knew what types of friends for you to choose so that you should not be derailed from their expectations. Those were your parents, child. Your parents took the initiative by then to educate you in such a manner that you should know that nothing else supposed to go into the nucleus of your brain, down to your heart, and derail you from your culture, the traditions, and your religions, from the manner in which you are going to behave yourself when it comes to the proper social life, especially in terms of getting prepared to represent the human race into the multiplication of the human race. Yes, child, your parents took the initiative in order to be somebody who will represent their parents, in order who will be in a position to look well after himself or herself, in order to be well known or to be highly celebrated and pleases God, who is the creator, so that the angels, who are actually your guardian angels from God, can clap hands for you. Child, this is how your mother and father has brought you up, so that tomorrow you should be the good answers, since you are today's questions. Child, your father and mother brought you up in that religious world, in that kind of culture, whereby you're supposed to know yourself, where you belong, within that segmented human race, within the tribe of the tribes, within the nations of the nations. You should know who you are, so that once you know who you are, once you are going to multiply in the human race, you should multiply it in the segmented area, which is, of course, the correct one, meant for you. Yes, child, for you to make them happy, they had to do it that way. And those will be looking at you through all the aspects I've already reflected. They will be saying, yes, if this child behave in a social manner in this particular way, what kind of a child is it going to be tomorrow? Surely 100% of them will say, he is or she is going to be extremely good, very impressive, respectable child, a child who's going to be prosperous, who's going to have a good family, a child who's actually going to represent the community, his community, in all aspects of life. Yes, because you are the questions of today, so you'll be the answers of them. And when you perform that day, when of course you would have reached that stage, they will be saying, of course, there is absolutely no miraculous issue about it, because we know from where he or she comes from, a wonderful family. He was well brought up, and the child actually responded well to the actual human drug which was placed into her mind or his mind, that went into his heart or her heart, in order to produce this child. Child, when one day you become that type of a person who will be taking part in the economy of your country, be a politician, be a big businessman, be whatever comes out there, which of course we'll be expecting, you will be the answers of yesterday. Since you are today's questions, you'll be tomorrow's answers. Child, there will not be doubt that whatever you are achieving, whatever you've got, it just fell from heavens above, just like that. People will be convinced that, of course, because you responded well to the human drug, which of course was actually put into your brain, down to your heart, and you responded well into it. That is why you became what you are. Child, you are the questions of today, the answers of tomorrow. Everybody watching you, what you are, the manner in which you respond to the human drug placed into you by your parents, down to your heart, the manner in which you respond to this, they've got no doubt that the answers are going to be very, very positive. Let me tell you, child, you'll be making your parents very proud. You'll be making your community very proud. You'll be making your nation very proud. And God will have a smile all the time. And the angels will clap their hands because you responded well. Child, if ever you are going to respond well, when your parents will be teaching you or educating you about your religions, your cultures, your traditions, how you're supposed to handle them, whoever is within your culture, whoever is around you or is attached to what you are, will ask you questions. If he responds or she responds so well, what's going to happen to him or tomorrow? Surely the answers will be, that is going to be a good child, representing his community, his culture, his customs and traditions well within his tribe. Child, I repeat, you are the questions of today, tomorrow's answers. You've got to be the blessing to your parents. You've got to be a blessing to your community. You've got to be a blessing to your nation. And the blessing to God, because God will be so happy that, of course, his creation is actually in good shape. Child, what I'm trying to indicate to you is one simple fact. If ever tomorrow you are not going to respond well to the drug or the human drug, which is actually placed into your mind and heart by your parents, you are not going to be behaving well when it comes to the social life. Actually, what I'm referring to is, you've got to wait until the right time comes according to the expectations of the parents or according to the way they are teaching you that, listen, do not get into social relationships when it's not the right time. Wait until the right time when, of course, you'll be ready to get into that. If you are going not to listen to what they say, and you allow the negative forces, the demonic spirits to take over your life and destroy it, you'll be a disappointment to your parents. In the meantime, you'll be the questions of those who will be watching you and the answers of tomorrow. Since you will not be responding well, it means your tomorrow will be black. It means your tomorrow will be black. It means your tomorrow will be disappointing to your parents, to your community, to your nation, to the God and the angels. All what I'm trying to say, children, listen to me very carefully. If ever your mother and father say, son or daughter, do not have a sexual relationship before you get married, listen to them. Listen to them. Because sex is not actually meant for just the pleasure. It's meant for the actual aspect I've started with, multiplication of the human race. Where the multiplication of the human race is actually meant for those who are ready, those who are actually prepared in advance to get involved in it. And within the structure, there is that pleasure which, of course, God has placed in, so that while they are busy multiplying, they should have the fun out of it. It's not meant for you. The minute you get involved in what is not meant for you, you should know exactly that you are no more a boy. You are a waste. You are no more a girl. You are a waste. Let me tell you, when I say you are a waste, not being a girl or a boy anymore, it's not an insult. I am not trying to be funny here. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm trying to be fair. You would actually have disappointed your parents to have seen you being a boy. Now you have taken a different step where you are a boy man. You have taken a different step where you are a girl woman. And that's not how God has created life. God created the boy to qualify as a boy and get into the next step and become a man. After becoming a man, then God closes the chapter of human race. God created a girl to become a girl, and once she qualifies, she becomes a girl, she becomes a woman. And once she becomes a woman, God closes the chapter because she's ready and he is ready to get into the multiplication of human race in a very highly respectable manner, created by the element fiber of the Almighty God. I repeat, remember, you are the questions of today, tomorrow's answers. If ever you're going to get involved into sexual intercourse before getting married, questions will be asked about you tomorrow. Let me tell you, if ever you are going to impregnate someone's daughter, whatever comes out there is not going to be a holy seed. It's going to be a seed which is actually polluted with demonic spirits. And let me tell you, I'm not trying to be arrogant or very, very funny. If ever that child is going to come out there, it's going to be a child that comes out from a sinful act that, of course, you would have prompted yourself as a boy. Remember, you are the question of today, tomorrow's answers. Listen to me, girl. If ever you are going to be impregnated by a man before you get married, or by a boy before you get married, the seed that is going to be accumulated in your womb and you're going to give birth to is not going to be that type of a holy, expected seed by the mighty man. You'll be a disappointment from your parents, from your community, from your tribe, from your nation, from God himself. Because the seed that comes out there would not be the seed that will represent a pure human race. That would be a seed of a sinful human race. Do you really want to give birth to a seed of a sinful human race? Surely that's not what you want to do. You want to make your parents proud. Your parents are proud of you because they made their parents proud by giving birth to you in a very decent manner. That's why they are the questions of yesterday to today's answers. That is exactly, child. You've got to follow their steps and listen to everything that they say. Child, let me tell you something. If ever this is the case, you are going to get involved into sexual intercourse before you get married. Let me tell you something. There is what we call human blood curse. That is a sinful act whereby the same seed of a son will continue with the same act. And I am telling you, you would have disappointed God, who actually thought it. You are going to take care of your family's activities forever and ever in a pure manner of holiness, close to the creation of the Almighty. Child, listen to what I'm saying. You are the questions of today, tomorrow's answers. If ever, child, you are not going to get educated enough going to school to impress your parents, to impress the community you're living in, to impress your nation, you're going to be out there playing truant. You're going to be doing stupid things, which of course are not going to give you any light in the future. Whatever you'll be doing during the time when you play truant, you'll be the questions of that day or of today, and you'll be the answers of tomorrow. That tomorrow you will never become a teacher, you'll never become a good businessman, you'll never become a minister, in any political portfolio or position. You'll never become a wonderful minister of religion or any other person of high status in your among your tribes or in your nation. You'll be a disappointment. What I'm trying to say to you is, you are blessed with all kinds of talents. You must get to schools. You must get to institutions of learning according to the expectations of your parents, so that you can be in a position to turn all the rocks around you and find exactly what is hidden for you within all those rocks. You'll find the talent that belongs to you. There are millions of talents from millions of people created on this planet Earth. You can only find them once you get to an institution of learning and learn how to turn those rocks in order to get your treasure of talent. But let me tell you something. If you are going to sit down there and expect your mother and father to be feeding every day and to be complaining and not going out there and learning as much as they're expecting you to do, you'll be a disappointment to your parents and a disappointment to your community, disappointment to your nation. And let me tell you, you'll be that answer, a weird answer tomorrow, which of course people will say, we are not surprised why she is such a particular person in this community, because he or she didn't want to get to an institution of learning how to survive or how to prepare himself or herself for the future. You are the questions of today, child. Tomorrow's answers. Let me tell you something, child. If ever you're not going to listen to your mother and father, that of course you've got to take your spirit and attach it to the religions that of your kind, of your tribe, according to God's creation. You're going to listen to them that this is how you're supposed to praise and worship God in terms of your origin. It will not be surprising tomorrow when, of course, you'll be a thief because you've got no guidelines of good morals. You'll be a rapist since you've got no guidelines of good morals. You'll be a killer, a murderer, because you've got no guidelines of good morals. Good morals from good religions. That, of course, your parents were trying by all means to bring you up with, preparing you today as questions, good answers of tomorrow. I repeat, everything is within your hands. If ever you are going to join things which you are not ready for, today it's fun because you've got shelter above you. When the west strong wind comes and blows it away, you'll be left alone, not knowing how to put that shelter above your head again. It's because you never learned how to build a structure for yourself in order to hide yourself during the difficult times of life. Child, there is one thing I would love you to know. There is one thing that I would like you to understand in terms of life. There is one thing I would like you to absorb in the nucleus of your mind. Do you know what is it? Do you know what is it? Let me tell you. Do not join the political world when you are not ready. Go to school. Leave the political world to the adult world. Leave the political world to those people who are ready, who can get involved into that political world. Do not let yourself to be used by those in the leadership of political world in order to gain popularity and majority at the expenses of your future. You know nothing about the political world. Get to school, get educated, and once you have qualified, once you are at a level whereby you can be in a position to get involved into substances of life like that, go for that boy, go for that girl, because you'll be knowing exactly how to handle that. Child, let me explain to you. If ever you're going to get involved in the political world when you are not ready, you are going to make mistakes in your life, whereby you're going to be disrespectful to yourself, to your parents, to your community, even to your nation. You'll not even know your rights. You'll be actually absorbing the rights that you don't even know where they come from. Let me tell you, all those who will be using you will be telling you about the wrong rights that you don't understand. They'll be telling you that you've got this type of rights because you don't understand them. You just absorb these type of things and you'll be doing stupid things which you're not supposed to be doing. All the rights that you're supposed to be knowing, child, is one thing. It's a right of a child to have a good health, to be educated, to be taken care of, preparing a child for the tomorrow, which might come up with difficult times, so that you should be in a position to go through the difficult times as a winner. Victory for God who created for you, so that the angels can do things for you. Yes, child, you should bear it in mind. Do not just go around there too young, joining associations, organizations which your parents are not aware of. Do not join religious groups which of course are not of your origin, which your parents never told you to join. Don't go behind your parents in the darkness of the night and join things that you're supposed not to, because your tomorrow will actually reflect in your yesterday. You are today's questions, tomorrow's answers. Because those types of religions, they'll derail you from the actual methods, manner of how to do things according to your cultures and your traditions. You'll perform traditions of the other people, faking them, not even knowing them, how to do them. You'll be imitating things that you don't even know, things that are going to put you to trouble, things that are going to pollute your mind, your heart, until such time you end up getting involved into filthy, pathetic things like crimes of all kinds. Child, believe in me. I was once a child. It does not mean because I'm talking to you like this, I was clean. It does not mean because I'm talking to you like this, I was a perfect human. No. Yes, I did mistakes in my life. But because I realized the mistakes and I asked for forgiveness from the Almighty God, it doesn't mean the forgiveness I've asked from God was the obliteration of the mistakes I've committed. That did not erase all the mistakes I've committed. Instead, I was remissioned for those mistakes. I was given less punishment for those mistakes. The less punishment I got from those mistakes, instead of getting killed by God who created me, He gave me a community service that I'm actually giving to you. The community service of telling you that do not be like me. Do not be like those who never managed to listen to their fathers and mothers, who committed wrong things and actually found themselves into trouble. At a later stage, they went on asking for forgiveness. And I want to tell you something. I regret every little mistake I have done not having listened to my parents before, even though I went to school. Because the forgiveness I've asked from my father and mother did not obliterate all the mistakes I've made, did not remove that. I want to explain to you very clear, very vividly. Forgiveness is not the obliteration of the offense committed. I'm going back to the Bible. When Adam and Eve committed a mistake or an error against the mighty God, They asked for forgiveness. God forgave them, but that did not mean God obliterated or erased the mistake. Instead of God actually killing them, he pardoned them, which means he remissioned them. It means he actually gave them a lesser punishment of saying, you get out of the garden and you are going to work hard and you're going to eat from the sweat that drips from your forehead and your wife will drink from the sweat that drips from your forehead. You woman, you're going to give birth through pain, instead of having the pleasures that I destined for you. That is why we can still hear about Adam and Eve, that God actually forgave them. It doesn't mean he removed all the offense that they committed. He still gave them the punishment. What I'm trying to say to you is, you are told today by me and your parents, do not commit stupid mistakes that you were told are mistakes. Do not go on and do stupid things, which of course you want or pre-warned about them, and hope to ask for forgiveness. That forgiveness, which is the what is not going to obliterate the exact thing that you did, is only going to let you get pardoned, which means get lesser punishment than the one that you're supposed to be getting. Which means you are blacklisted. You are blacklisted in the hearts of those you offended. Because the mistake will always be, you'll always be reminded of the mistake. Whoever looks at you have offended will look at you with the eye that has the mistake. Will always listen to you with the ear that is full of the mistake. Let me tell you, listen to me when I say, when your parents say, do not go around sleeping around with other people's daughters because you'll impregnate them and it's against the will of God. Do not do that. Because if you can impregnate somebody's daughter and you say you are sorry, it does not remove the offense you've committed. When you sleep with a boy, your parents say do not sleep with boys, and you conceive a child, let me tell you, and you say, Mama, I'm sorry, that does not remove the offense, because the child will be born, and every time when your father and mother look at the child, will be seen the sinful act. When God placed his eyes upon the child, will be seen the sinful act that you have committed, even though you have said you are sorry or you ask for forgiveness. Instead of God killing you, he'll give you hard time with the child, to support the child. You'll have a difficult life in getting married to a decent man who will marry you and give you a proper life, because that man, whoever will marry you, will not be marrying you as a purity, will be marrying you as somebody who's clouded with darkness of sin. If your mother and father say, do not take what is not yours, ask for something. Yes, child, do not take that because it's not yours. Once you take that and you are caught in the process, you go back to your mother and father and say, I'm sorry, forgive me. Because you are their child, they cannot kill you. Maybe the punishment they're supposed to have given you, they will lessen the punishment. Instead of lashing you, they will talk to you strongly and ground you in the house. But that does not remove the offense. They will never trust you at all. They will never trust you at all. You will never be trusted even by the community you are living in at all, because you are the questions of today. They'll be watching you, not listening to your parents when they say, do not steal, and you go out stealing. Even tomorrow, when you are a thief, they'll be saying, we are not surprised why he's a thief, because he has been stealing when he was young. The parents used to talk to him, and he never wanted to listen. He kept on doing stupid things. Yes, you were pardoned, but that will remind the people about you. Every time whoever looks at you will be knowing that there's a thief around. The remission, the lesson, punishment, or the lesser punishment you'll be getting is that of people not trusting you with anything. Whenever you come, people will be removing their things, their monies, their wallets away because they don't trust you. Do you know how it feels when you're not trusted? It's painful. That will be the lesser punishment that you're getting. Forgiveness is not a word that removes the offense you have committed. Child, you are today's questions, tomorrow's answers. They will know you of what you have done today, tomorrow. They will grade you with what you are tomorrow with what you have done today. Why your parent is a wonderful parent, why your father is a wonderful father, or your mother is a fantastic woman or fantastic mother, it's because she did well in the eyes of her parents. It's because your father did wonderfully in the eyes of his parents and in the eyes of God. And God happened to bless them with good life. At the end of the day, God blessed them with a holy marriage. That is why God actually trusted them with the human race multiplication. That is you. Do not actually become a seed that is actually dumped into an oil and put among all the weeds and thrown into the field to grow. Because you will never come out as a pure seed, productive to feed the multitude. You'll be coming out as a waste product that will be taken out together with the wheat and be chucked away. Why? Because you'll be yesterday's questions being the answers of them. Child, you are a blessing to your mother and father. And if you can understand this, the whole entire world of children will turn into a paradise of a human race of tomorrow. The angels will clap hands and God will rejoice, and your parents will be happy. Your tribes and nations will be very, very proud of you. Child, if your father and mother tells you fighting other children in the streets, drinking, doing all stupid things in the streets are not actually for you, you should bear it in mind. It's important for you to listen, because if ever you are not going to listen to them, you are going to be the questions of today, you'll be the answers of tomorrow. When you're a drunkard tomorrow, they'll be saying, yes, when he was taught by his parents, he could not listen. When he was taught by his parents not to be fighting in the streets, he could not listen. That is why today he's a fighting type. He's in and out of jails because of assaulting other people, because of drinking in the streets, because doing all stupid things in the streets, because he never listened to his parents. You are the questions of today, and you are tomorrow's answers. This is what you're supposed to learn. This is what you're supposed to do. All what I'm trying to say, as a child, enjoy your childhood. Enjoy as a boy, as a girl. Know exactly what is due to you. Listen to me very carefully. I'm just going to explain something vividly to you for you to understand it. I've gone out of my way to do some kind of researches about the other tribes and nations in different countries. I'm well traveled. I'm going to make an example. I went out to Israel. I went out to the Palestine. I was out in Saudi Arabia. I went to Pakistan. I realized that the types of children they've got, most of them who are brought within the cultural structure of their traditions and religions, they are children who've got that glow of future prosperity. Because when a child is told that you cannot pick a woman and just date a woman and just go out and sleep with her, a child would obey the instructions, will not go out there and date a woman and sleep out with her. A child will wait for the right time. A child will go to school. A child will go and play soccer. A child will go and play basketball and become a child. Will enjoy the childhood world and have fun out of it. But when time comes and nature calls that he's an adult enough, he's well educated in all aspects of life, the parents will always say yes with the identification or with what they identify from the child. Maybe the smell of the body or the scent that comes from the body, or maybe the puberty stage that reflects all kinds of things. He or she is ready. Then they will suggest it's time up for you to get married. We are going to choose someone for you that you're supposed to get married to. And this particular person, they'll choose to get married to this man, will be a girl who comes from a family of good morals, a family that has a good history of good morals, a family without all the kind of crosses which of course were running through the trend of their family. It will be a family that is respectful, so that the offspring that would come out of this boy should also be their family without the absorption of all the curses from a different point, if ever the different point was infected with the curses. Let me tell you, you'll find all those children from all those countries I've mentioned. They'll travel the whole world seeking for jobs or doing some kind of business. They will never touch a girl. They will never touch whatever, especially being boys, getting involved into sexual relationships. When the time comes, they'll go back to their homes and get married and bring their wives to wherever they're staying and have a healthy lifestyle and be prosperous. And the creation of God will bless them with everything is due to them. I am not trying to be segregative. I'm not trying to be racist. I am just trying to be straightforward. We should understand we've got too much of product of impurity deserters of nations due to the ill behavior of our children. That is why we've got too many criminals. We've got too many crimes perpetrated against the others. Do you know those perpetrate those crimes are the actual questions of yesterday? That is why they are the answers being perpetrators. Do you know those who actually give birth to fatherless children? They are the questions of yesterday. They never lessened. That is why they are the answers. Being fatherless mothers, fatherless in that particular father manner. Listen to me, child. God created you with pride to represent the next generation that comes. You need to get involved in the multiplication of the next generation. Make sure the next generation that comes out of you being ordained, that task, it should be pure according to the expectation of the Almighty God. God loves you. God loves you. God loves you. Dating girls and boys, or dating among boys and girls, is not a solution for young people. is a sinful act because it's going to get you involved into sinful activities whereby fatherless children will be born being the seeds of a son, which is not a good thing. All what I want to tell you, lastly, the adult world knows what I'm talking about. Sex is in here. The minute your parent tells you do not get involved in sexual intercourse before time, the parent makes your mind dormant to the activities of sexual intercourse. Respond so that you be dormant. When the parents say to you, now is time, they activate sex into your mind. You get married and you enjoy it in the holy matrimony with the one chosen for you. Maybe some of you will say it's not your fault. It's the fault of the parent. I'll treat the parent life later.